Well, welcome back to the Point of Order podcast, an inside look at California politics and the state legislature. I am your host, Assemblyman Josh Hoover, and excited to have back on the program Jeff Gonzalez, Assemblymember. I didn't write your district number down. District
36.
36. Yeah, welcome back, man.
It's good to be here. Good to be back.
Absolutely. It's always good to have you, always entertaining. We'll dive in.
What do I make you laugh? I make you dance? What is this?
Hey, man, I don't know. This is what I'm talking about.
What am I, a clown here?
So lots going on over the weekend. We got some stories to jump into today, stories of the week that we're going to dive into and sort of get your take on some things that are going on. Mileage tax we'll talk about a little bit. But before we do that, a couple big sporting events over the weekend.
I heard there was some things going on.
We had the launch of the 2026 Winter Olympics,
yes,
right? And then we had the Super Bowl, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's start with Super Bowl.
All right.
I just
the
feel
big
like
show.
The big show, man. That's the biggest game in town, literally.
Yes.
Right? In the world, probably. So.
And in town.
And in town. It was local, kind of. Did you watch? What were your reactions? What were your thoughts? And then I'm going to ask you what your favorite commercials were.
I turned it on at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
With an expectation of watching, the pregame all the way to the end. I was committed. I was committed to this game. We turned it on, and it was a whirlwind of emotions, let's just say.
Wait, first of all, who were you rooting for? Like, did you care?
America's team. Who else? Jets, Jets. But they weren't playing, and neither were the Rams. So I was going for the Seahawks.
Okay.
I was going for the Seahawks.
So the wrong choice. That's fine.
It's okay. Everyone has free America. We can choose. We can make choices. I chose the Seahawks.
I love it.
Apparently you chose the wrong team, but that's another story. So yeah, I turned it on. I was ready to go. And my initial reaction to the first field goal was, okay, smart, conservative move.
Right.
Let's do that. Second field goal. Okay, let's kill him, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Third field goal, I was like, all right, hey, a W's a W, just keep on rolling. Fourth field goal, I'm like, all right, maybe it's just going to be a field goal game.
Crazy.
After the halftime, I thought this Seahawks team is unstoppable. Their defense was
amazing.
On fire. Amazing. They were just beating up poor little
Drake
Patriots.
Man. Yeah.
And it was I thought it was a good game.
There was a stat they showed at the end of the game, or it was like near the end of the game when Jason Myers came in for his fifth field goal. I think there was five in total.
His
at some point,
35th field goal.
Yeah. And he is the highest scorer in a season, of all time. He passed, I think, LaDainian Tomlinson or something as scoring the most points, including playoffs, in a season.
In football and in soccer.
As a
kicker. And potentially lacrosse.
Yeah. As a kicker. So now a kicker leads that list. Now, granted, we've added a game to the regular seain. They made it to the Super Bowl. So it's a little bit it's a little bit skewed, but that's pretty wild. Over 200 points scored as a kicker in a single season. That's pretty wild,
he's definitely going to the club. And they're going to raise him on their shoulders and raise the roof with him because he did a phenomenal job. He did his job. He went out there, he kicked it through the uprights and brought it home.
He did.
Many times.
I thought one of the most boring Super Bowls I've seen, although the more boring one also included the Patriots, was that Patriots-Rams a few years ago that was like 6-3 or something.
I thought it was a little boring. I did like the interceptions, right? That kind of all right, here we go.
Okay.
And then I like when the Patriots scored just for the sake of, all right, maybe it might turn around.
Yeah, you never know.
And no, it did not.
The Patriots looked outmatched.
Yeah.
They looked outmatched.
They really did.
So,
it was Pop Warner versus NFL. And the Seahawks definitely took it home.
I do think, though, this really enforces why we call it football, though. When there's that much kicking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you remember that Nate Bargatze SNL skit, George Washington, where
no, I don't remember this.
We're going to have a sport in the future called football. is like, oh, where you throw the ball with your hands. It's like, there's no kicking in football. Well, there's a little kicking, like but last night it was all kicking.
It was all kicking.
Like,
Last night was all kicking.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So,
what'd you think of the game? Other than it was a little boring.
I was a little sleepy. I think I left with like 2 minutes left. I left my Super Bowl party because I was like, but more importantly, it was not exciting. I was rooting for the Patriots. By the way, if both teams could have lost, that's the result I would have preferred.
Yeah.
I hate both teams with a deep and burning passion. I think the last time they played each other in the Super Bowl, I rooted for the Seahawks because I was like anti-Tom Brady. This time, there's no way I root for Sam Darnold. I actually wore my UCLA stuff to the Super Bowl party because just to be an anti-Trojan, I can't root for a Trojan in the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen.
You have a deep anger that I think we need to work through maybe on this show.
I went to UCLA and USC, and I still have this hatred inside me.
As a student or as a visitor?
As a student. But, I just couldn't bring myself to root for a USC guy, and I couldn't bring myself to root for the Seahawks in the Niners home stadium. Just no way, man. Never going to happen. So,
well, I like that the Niners weren't playing. Sorry for all the Niner fans.
Yeah.
I'm a Jets fan, and one day, Josh, I tell you, we will get to that Super Bowl. We will be there again.
I love it, man. Halftime show reactions. Bad Bunny. Did you listen to the Subpar Rabbit or was
the
it
Subpar Rabbit?
Was it?
We made a decision. I made a decision in my house. So I had a whole bunch of guests in my house.
Yeah.
Family members, so on and so forth. And before the game even started, I said, look, we're watching the All-American halftime show. There's some people that I want to see on there. It's
they had some good music.
Absolutely.
On there.
And I'm half Puerto Rican, so for me, also the Bad Bunny vibe was like, okay, maybe I'll like that. But really, I was more towards the All-American show.
Okay.
So I turned it on, and my house was full. I'm telling you, it was a full thing. And as soon as I turned it on, it was like everyone stood up and left. They left, and I was like, wait, where are you guys going? We're just going to go somewhere else to watch the halftime show. And they never came back.
No, they didn't come back.
They didn't come back.
Was a temporary thing.
No.
They
didn't
left.
come back. They got up and they were completely offended that I put on the All-American halftime show. But here's the thing. I didn't have to wash any dishes. I didn't have to clean up at 10 o'clock at night. It actually worked in my favor. So now I know how to clear out a room or clear out my living room.
Kid Rock on, I
just
guess,
put Kid Rock or his alter ego and do it. I was actually surprised that they just, everyone. I didn't know.
That's kind of hilarious, actually.
It was pretty funny. I didn't think it's a big deal, but apparently it is. It brings some emotion.
Yeah, so I watched Bad Bunny. I was at I was just curious. I like watching the halftime show, at the Super Bowl, even if it's like.
How was it? I didn't see it. I haven't seen anything.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good.
I knew you would.
I know, right? I'm like, I will say this, like. I will probably never listen to Bad Bunny again. So it didn't spark some sort of new love for his music or anything. Right. But just like the production was pretty fun. It was kind of like a musical. I know that sounds weird.
I saw something about walking trees.
Yeah, there was a bunch of walking trees. They started in a farm sort of setting, and then he sort of walks through and spikes the football, and I don't know, man. He actually scored the first touchdown.
Did he? For the Patriots. They needed it.
He won me over with Jessica Alba. I'm not going to lie. When I saw Jessica Alba up there, I'm like, okay, you win. You win the Super Bowl halftime.
Who's she? I'm not familiar.
Pedro Pascal was there for some reason. Just
yes, he was.
Hilarious,
there was a few famous people.
Lady Gaga
was
kind
there
of in the background, and then Lady Gaga performed, and then Ricky Martin made an appearance, which actually that kind of was cool.
Did he sing?
He did. Yeah,
did he
sang
dance?
a little ditty.
Did he shake his bum bum? Or
yeah, no, he didn't shake much, but I think I love the cultural aspect, the colors, everything. I mean, look, I thought it was a fun show. It would not be my preferred artist for the Super Bowl halftime show, but
who would be your preferred
I thought
artist?
It was a good time. Oh man, dude, best halftime show of all time. I'm gonna get so much hate for this from a certain sector.
Go ahead,
of the population, but Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. That was the best halftime. 50 Cent. I mean, that was an unbeatable halftime show in my mind.
That
you
was
can never
a good
outdo
halftime
it.
show.
I'm sorry, it's over.
I would say in the last 20 years, that ranks as one of my top 3.
Yeah.
Halftime shows. It was just like, this
great.
is cool. It was
awesome,
a good show.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was my favorite, which is funny because a lot of like Republican people on the right like hated that show.
I don't know why. It was a good show.
So funny. And I just was out there like, that was so awesome. And I was like, what's wrong with you?
I loved it. It was a great show.
I thought it was awesome, man. And now you get to watch Snoop in the Olympic coverage. So, it's like,
he is doing some Olympic stuff, I've heard. So are you excited about that?
Yeah. Well, real quick. Yeah, actually, real quick, let's talk about commercials, and then we'll shift to Olympics. But did you have a favorite commercial?
Look, there was a lot of expectations with the Dunkin' Donuts franchise commercials. A lot of expectations. When it came up, Goodwill Dunkin'.
Goodwill Dunkin'.
I loved the fact that it had a lot of
All
old
the
school
90s. That was
actors.
wild,
I was
man.
like, this is great. And I looked at my son, and he said, who are these people? So it kind of lost a lot.
And they all looked young. That was weird.
They all looked young. AI did some stuff.
There was a lot of AI stuff.
Oil of Olay. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
But I like that commercial.
Okay.
I thought they would come back again for like a part 2 of that commercial, maybe after the halftime.
They didn't do it.
Probably all had heart attacks and couldn't make it.
Was that your favorite one?
That was one of my favorites. You know what the other one? Man, a lot of controversy with especially the guests in my house. Remember, they walked out. The Coca-Cola Polar Bear.
Oh, the Pepsi.
With Pepsi.
I mean, it was funny seeing them on the screen though, like at the Coldplay concert thing.
That was pretty funny.
So
the house was split. I had a Pepsi crowd and a Coca-Cola crowd. I thought they were going to go fisticuffs. It was going to get crazy. But yes.
I mean, that was just Pepsi trolling, right?
Yeah, well, hey, it brought up some serious, deep-seated emotions in my guests.
So, I don't know. That first ad that played after on the first break was decent. It was the YouTube TV, the Meh ad.
Yes,
Christian McCaffrey. And
yes,
he's like, he looks like a really bad guy, and like that was pretty good. The Instacart bananas commercial with
oh yes, the bananas. I did like that one.
What's his name? Ben Stiller or whatever. Or no,
when Ben Stiller fell off the stage, everyone shrieked like, "Oh, is this live?" Like it was pretty
hilarious.
crazy. Yeah,
I
did like the Ben Stiller one.
I have the Bosch one. Oh, Guy Fieri.
Oh, when he was switching between the two people?
Yeah, the hair thing.
That was pretty crazy. I didn't catch up at first, and towards the end, I was like, wait, this is Guy Fieri.
And I don't think it was the best, but the Uber Eats Matthew McConaughey and Bradley Cooper ad. I don't know if you saw that one. That was a good one. Funny.
What about the one where the Winter Olympics? I can't remember who was the actor, old school actor, Kirk Douglas. No, not Kirk Douglas. He was making him do like the Mr. Miyagi cleaning of the skis.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna miss. Oh no, yeah, you're right. Kurt
Cobain, Kirk Douglas,
Kurt Russell, right?
Kurt Russell, yeah. One of the Kurts.
No, I remember that one was actually pretty good too. I did enjoy the TurboTax, the Adrian Brody.
Yes,
coming in like,
I need drama.
No, what did he say? He said the only thing in life that's assured is death and taxes.
Yeah,
but death can only happen to you once. Jeez, dude, that was actually pretty funny.
That was a good one.
And then the Novartis, the tight end commercial with all.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
it must have been in between buffalo wings.
It was just all the different tight ends, and it was for a drug. It was like. I don't even remember now. So obviously this is a really effective ad on my, and then go serious for a second, that Budweiser eagle on the horse thing, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. At first I was like, how did they get the eagle to stay on the horse? Like I'm trying to plan this operationally, logistics. Like who's the guy that's making this happen? Who's the lady that's getting the eagle and all this to take place? But it was actually a really cool Americana moment.
Yeah, and then the last one was, and then they had the actual eagle on the horse in the football stadium. I don't know if you saw that when they came back from the break. Right after the ad played, there was a horse in the stadium with an eagle on the back.
Who would have thunk it?
It was wild, man. I'm like, all right.
Next thing you know, we'll have flying cars.
And then the last one that I really got a kick out of was the Jurassic Park one where Xfinity fixed the problem in the park, and then everything's awesome.
And then at the end, he's standing there as they overlook the big lake. I'm like, This is crazy.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like I was gonna pick one ad to play just for the heck of it. So for our clip of the week, so we'll play the if I can find it here, we'll play the Dunkin ad. Is that one the
Let's
one
do
we're
it.
doing? All right, let's do it. I
Goodwill
think we did
Dunkin.
Were you on the Super Bowl show last year, right? I think we did the same conversation.
I think we did. Yes, we did. Every year you bring me back for the post Super Bowl antics.
So here's the Goodwill Dunkin ad.
Before the movie, a much better version of Good Will Hunting was made as a sitcom with a real genius in the lead and some other actors.
Hey, Will, did you arrange the Munchkins in the Fibonacci sequence? I got a genius working for me.
He's such a genius, then why'd he put ice in his coffee, huh?
Come on, Chucky, I'm just Will Hunting. I'm not a genius.
I will marry the first man that can help me with the Fibonacci sequence.
How you doing? Smooth.
Don't you have a girlfriend?
We're on a break. I don't need her. I still get everything I need right here at Dunkin'.
Hey, kid, if you're still single doing this Boston shtick and working for Dunkin' when you're 50, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
Isn't that your girlfriend?
You like donuts?
Yeah.
Well, this is my new boyfriend. How you like these nuts?
On time.
Goodwill Dunkin. Goodwill Dunkin.
Man. I think my favorite part is when like Joey Tribbiani's like smooth.
Yeah.
After he
I like
says,
the
"How you doing?"
Fibonacci sequence.
I'm pretty sure you were on the Super Bowl show last year, and I'm pretty sure we played a Dunkin' ad. I'm pretty positive. I
I'm
remember
pretty
that
sure we
correctly.
did that. Yes.
I think this is like major deja vu in a lot of different
Well,
ways.
that's why I had these expectations of
Yeah.
I need to see more Dunkin'. We need more cowbell, Josh.
need more cowbell,
more
man.
cowbell.
All right, last sports topic, because I know this is not a sports show, but it was just a big weekend. Winter Olympics kicked off. You watching it? You're not watching it?
I'm watching parts of it.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
watching parts of it. Look, here's what I want to see. My favorite, I lived in New York, upstate New York. My favorite winter sport in New York beats every single one. And my dad actually used to wake us up at 3 a.m. on a weekend to play this sport. I think every person in the Northeast played this sport. It's called shoveling the driveway. It's a fun little sport that you go out there and you freeze and you shovel the driveway and you throw salt. I'm looking for that, and I'm also looking for some curling. What about you?
Yeah, I actually watched some curling this morning.
Did you?
Which is weird. Yeah, USA lost to Italy this morning in curling. This is a Monday morning. We're recording this, by the way. It won't come out till Wednesday.
The Italians are beasts at curling.
Yeah.
They know how to do it.
Yeah, no, they're good. They were
yeah.
good. So no, curling's cool. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's like if you were to participate in an Olympic sport, which one would you pick? Because I feel like curling might be the only one I could do,
Well,
or one of the only ones I could even.
If I was
attempt to
younger,
do.
thinner, healthier, and I couldn't throw my back out at a sneeze,
Yeah.
then bobsledding.
Oh, bobsledding would be cool.
Right? I just want to be in the front seat, like, let's roll.
Yeah.
And just go down there.
Jerry Seinfeld has this whole bit on how the luge is like anyone could actually do it. It's just a guy scared, like flying down a mountain, basically. And like you could put anyone on there and they could get a world record. That's probably not true, but it is pretty funny.
But I also think it's probably the safest. Like, you put 2 skis on me, and
yeah.
if I
It's
fall,
over, yeah.
I'm dead. You
Well-
put me in, like, this bullet thing, going down a roller coaster
you
chute.
could die doing that, probably. You know, the Jamaicans got back.
Death and taxes.
Jamaicans got back to they have a bobsled team again this year.
Yes,
So
they
that's
do.
pretty cool.
Yes, they do.
I'm
I
gonna
want to
have to
see
watch that.
I want to see part 2 of that movie.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, Lindsey Vonn broke her leg or something.
Did she?
In her first run or whatever? I don't know. It's crazy. Like, she's skiing on a torn ACL. I thought that was a pretty boss move, honestly. And then she broke her leg. It's sad. But
I want to see more extreme winter sports. Like,
more extreme.
I want them to
like
go.
the X Games sort of
I
thing?
want to see X game winter sports around the world, like jumping out of a plane with skis on the side of a mountain. We go down and then whoosh, and then fireworks and don't catch on fire. Like, those types of things is what I'm looking for. I need them to keep me interested, Josh.
No. I mean, sure. Let's try some things out. I don't know. The big jump thing is cool. That's obviously not the name of it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know the name of
That's
the
what they
event,
call it
but
in high school, the big jump.
They do snowboarding and skiing where you just go off that huge ramp.
Yes.
And sort of like, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty scary to me.
I do like that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of growing up, like building these ramps
Yeah.
made out of, plywood and trying to do that off the side of a, sidewalk, thinking we were ready to go to the Olympics.
I think they did hear you, though. They added an event this year.
What event?
That I have to watch. I don't know if it's happened yet, but I'm desperate to watch this event. It's ski mountaineering.
What is this?
So you actually climb a mountain with skis on, and then you have like rubber on the skis, and then for the parts where you can't have the skis on, you actually throw the skis on your back, and then you climb with your feet, and then you get to the top of the mountain, you throw your skis back on and take the rubber things off, and then you ski down, and it's a race. It's like they have like men's and women's singles, and then they have like a relay as well.
But is there a bear or a wolf chasing after you? Because that would make it interesting. For our friend Heather Hadwick, she would appreciate that.
So that actually would, everyone would watch that.
Yes.
Yeah. But
If
no,
you
I
lose,
don't
you
think
get
that's part of it.
mauled. Your calf gets taken out by a wolf or something like that.
I mean, I don't think that's part of it, but it is.
I didn't know they had this. Seriously,
I
I
just
didn't
read
know.
the description of it the other day because I was talking with my wife, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember all the different Olympic events for winter because I'm not familiar with them. Like I know what volleyball is, and all the basketball and whatever track and
Pickleball,
field,
Monopoly.
all the summer sports are
Yep.
like things that you kind of are familiar with. But then I'm like, I always have to remind myself what the winter ones are.
So
And
when
I
is
read
the
that was,
mountaineering one happening?
I
Because
don't know.
I think I want to watch that.
I sort of watch it. I just turn them on when I can. So I sort of just like either catch it or I don't. But I'm hoping that
Where are they doing the Winter Olympics at?
it's Milan. Yeah. So,
fancy.
yeah, very nice. So coming to your town soon, right? LA 2028 is that?
It's coming to Southern California,
Or
2028.
not your town, but yeah.
Yes, it will be
Your
down,
region.
down in our region. Excited about that. Excited about the economic development going on. All of the things that bring business to California, even though it is a challenging environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I just want to see. I'm going to keep watching them. It'll be fun. We'll move on now. But I just keep the politics out of all this stuff, man.
Yeah,
Like
I'm done with
I don't love
politics
the
in sports.
politics in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. I don't love the
I'm with you.
politics in the Olympics. It's like, guys, can we just watch a sporting event?
I don't want to see it in the Grammys, the Oscars.
I don't care what your opinion is on right, left, middle, up, down. Doesn't matter. Just let's not do politics in the sports.
I agree. I agree.
Whatever. One can hope. All right, stories of the week. Big vote last week, mileage tax, right? Or last 2 weeks, really. 2 weeks ago, the mileage tax proposal, which would, they say it's just a study, which, as the bill is written, it seeks to study for the purposes of implementation, mind you, a mileage tax in California. Doesn't lay out all the details for what that will look like, but lays out the framework, I would say, for implementing a mileage tax in the future. Our caucus brought forward a bill last week I thought it was pretty common sense, pretty straightforward to just say, hey, look, if we're going to talk about another tax, we need to make sure that we have constitutional protections for taxpayers to ensure that, you're not going to get double taxed with a gas tax and a mileage tax. I don't see why they don't just do that. Why wouldn't they want to do that? This is easy, right? But unfortunately, they voted that down. So the supermajority voted that down. So what is your sort of take been or view been on the mileage tax, and what do you want to see moving forward here?
I always try to look at things from district out. Like how would that impact folks in my district?
Yep.
I represent an area that's a little bit larger than New Hampshire. It's huge. So to get from my house to one end of the district, I'm going through the sand all the way to the border towns, and that could take up to 2.5 hours. I'm thankful that, I'm blessed that I have a job and I could pay those types of things. But I look at single moms, single dads, single caregivers, young folks who have to travel. They don't live in these, big urban areas. They live in rural areas. This is going to impact them significantly for a myriad of reasons. we're already the highest tax state. So now we're going to try and tax them again and potentially double tax. It does not sit well with Democrats, independents, and Republicans in my district. I did have, what's funny, I did have one person say, well, that's okay. We should double tax folks. And I thought, do you realize the impact that this has on a county that has a 20% unemployment rate? They have a job, right?
Yeah.
They're living really well. And they're thinking, oh, I don't care, double tax. They're not thinking about the big picture. And unfortunately, the big picture is people are hurting in California, and affordability is the number one topic. And when we start adding more and more taxes to the working class, we are hurting them every single day. So, the fact that they say, oh, it's just a study, doesn't mean anything. We wouldn't study it to kill it. They're studying it to implement it, and that's what people need to open their eyes about with this study bill.
Yeah, the just a study rhetoric is sort of frustrating because, then why are we wasting our time if it's not going to happen, right? Why are we wasting our time? There's a purpose behind it, right? It's interesting. So I sent a survey to my constituents on this, and I asked them 3 different questions. One, do you support passing a mileage tax with no taxpayer protections, right? Like the one that we're talking about. Would you support it if they got rid of the gas tax? Both of those, by the way, the first one was like 90% almost no, right? So it's pretty substantial. The second one was a little more support, but still a pretty hard no on even if they got rid of the gas tax, they wouldn't like it. And I would say the third question we ask is, would you support a mileage tax on just zero emission vehicles, right? That's where I think my district was much more 50-50. And I get that, because I do think that there is a fairness issue right now with the zero emission vehicles, that they're not contributing the same to road infrastructure that the gas powered vehicles are contributing. And as those become a larger percentage of the cars on the road, they probably should be contributing, a more, I would say, equitable amount, right, towards road infrastructure. So let's have that conversation. Let's talk about the ways that we could solve that problem, whether that, whatever the different methods of solving that could be. But let's not, pass a mileage tax without proper protections on all the other drivers in the state. And I think that's where I think there's a disconnect in terms of what's actually going on in the Capitol right now.
100%. There's an absolute disconnect, and moreover, there is a feeling of, well, we're in a deficit, so we need to add more expenses upon the working class. Right. When in fact we should go back to the budget and say, well, how about we clean this up before we start adding all these other things? Let's clean it up and then move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, more to come on that. We'll keep people updated, but that proposal now moves to the Senate. So we'll see how that plays out there. And hopefully, whatever happens, I want to, at the very least, get some protections added to it and get gas-powered vehicles out of it. I think that would be really good. But to your point, I mean, this is, interestingly, the author of the bill is from a more rural area too, right? And I have a lot of commuters in my district. You obviously have a massive district where it's not like you can jump on a light rail,
right,
and get to your job.
There are no light rails.
That's not really a thing in your district,
right? Barely have Ubers there.
Exactly. So, we have to keep in mind when we talk about these one-size-fits-all bills, like, California is a very diverse place. And not everyone lives in Los Angeles. Not everyone lives in the Bay Area. You know, not everyone has access to transit in the same way that they might, right? And so, I think that's a really good point as well. So did you happen to watch any of the gubernatorial debate? I don't know if you... I just saw some clips. I didn't really...
I saw some clips.
Pay a bunch of attention to it,
I think, people keep asking about the gubernatorial debate and where do I stand and who do I think will be the next ever. And I always say, guys, June is like a long ways away. Anything, it's like any given Sunday, right? You just don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and it was a debate with the 2 leading Democratic candidates not there. One of the leading Republican candidates not there. So it's kind of like,
it was like, who's there, right? I'm seeing clips that Steve Hilton one-handedly there.
I thought he did a pretty good job, yeah,
Right.
for sure. But
So I've seen that, but I really do think we've got a long ways to go. What will June bring us?
Yeah.
Who will drop out? Who will have different conversations? How will the pressures of affordability really impact the conversations that they're having?
Yeah.
And who will actually execute that? I think Californians, let's just leave the parties aside.
Yep.
Right? Let's put the parties aside. And I believe Californians are saying, we just want somebody who's interested in fixing the problems.
yeah,
And not the partisan stuff.
Yep.
But the problems that are happening on First and Main. The education issue, the infrastructure issue, the water issue, the energy. I can go down a list of things. We need someone who's focused on California so that Californians can live in a place that's affordable, that's beautiful, that they want to stay in versus the other way around.
yeah. No, I think that's absolutely right. People want a problem solver. I know Steve Hilton. I think he's a good guy. I thought he did pretty well at the debate. He really went after Chad Bianca too, which was interesting. So that was that's going to get a little chippy with
Sure.
them trying to polling very similarly and trying to get one up on each other. So I mean, I guess he was the best performing Republican because he was the only Republican in the debate.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting to see what these do show. I think is sort of where the candidates' minds are at and where their messaging is at. And I thought that's always interesting. I mean, Villaraigosa really criticizing Newsom for the $24 billion spent on homelessness and the utter failure on homelessness. I think the fact that, people are willing to go after Newsom is a big deal.
Sure.
I think that not all of them are going to be willing to do that. But it was interesting to see on the Democratic side, because I think there were 6 Democrats there. What direction is your campaign going? What lane are you trying to take, right? Villaraigosa clearly looking on more of that problem solver lane. Matt Mahan actually performed very well, I thought. Really focused on those results-oriented problem solving. And then you had all these other candidates that were just talking about all of the buzzwords and the political stuff. And I think that really does, I just think that really does sort of show you where their priorities are. So I thought that was interesting, right, from that standpoint.
Right.
But
I've spoken to Villaraigosa on several occasions at different events throughout here, and he strikes me as someone who's willing to work in that middle area.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate as someone who comes to the assembly also doing that. We need to solve problems versus fight with each other.
Yeah.
So I like that. I've talked to Ian Calderon as well, and he seems like that as well. And same thing with Bianco and Hilton. They've also said the same thing. So for me, all of those folks who are willing to say, "How about we get everybody at the table and solve this?" That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And that's what I think Californians are looking for.
And I wonder too, because there's going to that hyper partisan stuff is going to be sort of there's going to be candidates that take that lane.
Right.
And those are the ones that I really hope, do not ultimately make it to the final ballot. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Matt Mahan obviously was in the debate, but he had just announced his run like a week ago. So since the last podcast, he's actually jumped in the race. That was a big deal.
Why do you think he jumped in? Do you think that they don't have a viable candidate? Or was it something he was thinking about doing? Or what do you think the strategy is for Matt Mahan going in? What's your thoughts?
I think he thinks he can win.
You don't think it was an outside coming in? Hey, we need somebody else? Or do you think it was him personally saying, I think I can win and let me see if I can rally?
I think there's certainly outside pressure from the standpoint of I think there is a lack of good candidates in the race. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot, when you look at, let's just say that the governor results over the last many years, a Democrat is very likely to win the governor's race. I think that's a pretty fair assessment of things. And, for a lot of groups that are, I would say, more business oriented or common sense oriented, they would rather see a Democrat in there that has some common sense than, another partisan, extreme candidate. And I think, so I do think there was probably a groundswell of support for a need for that type of candidate in the race. But I also think he thinks he can win. I mean, he in a week he raised $7 million.
But that also says a lot about this groundswell is directing, or it's communicating. We're getting tired of these fringe folks.
Yeah.
We need someone that more identifies to today's California. So that's an interesting perspective. Moreover, to be able to raise $7 million so quickly,
it's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive. So
that's another reason I think he can win, right? I think the question is, can he get out of a primary where you're constantly pushed to go farther to the extremes, right? Both on the right and the left.
Right.
Those primary processes are really where they weed out the common sense people. This was what the top 2 primary was supposed to solve, and it simply hasn't solved it.
Right.
Because we still see these extreme candidates coming out of primaries. And I think that is a problem. But yeah, just to look, I know he posted this when Matt Mahan, when he jumped in. Obviously, for those that don't know Matt, mayor of San Jose, currently, posted a big tweet about why he's running for governor. And I just thought it was interesting. He was very critical about the status quo on homelessness. That's something that I always appreciate. The cost of housing, something that is a huge problem in my opinion. It was all very focused on the issues. And I think, to your point, solving the issues, like being a problem solver. This is how we close it out, though. We don't just need to be against something. We need to be for something, a government that proves it can solve problems for working people again. I mean, there's going to be things I disagree with Matt on, I know,
Sure,
as we move through this. But who doesn't agree with that?
I agree.
Come on. It's just, I wish more people would say stuff like that. Our politics is too often defined by what we're against and not what we're for. So I definitely appreciated that. All right, moving on. Los Angeles Times report, great reporting. Mayor Karen Bass, it was uncovered that, according to this report and sources, she directed a watering down of the Palisades after action report. I don't know if you saw that story.
I did see that.
Very concerning. Obviously, if this actually happened, which, there's some pretty good reporting here and good sources, it sounds like, that's a huge, what does that mean? What do you think?
With any one of these major catastrophic issues, right?
Yeah.
We need an independent investigation to determine strength, weaknesses, opportunities, right? Threats, the SWOT analysis, so to speak. We need that. And when folks who are elected cover that up to protect themselves, it will not make us better. It will not help us in the next issue, whatever that issue might be. So if this is true, that happened, it's very disappointing because people lost a lot during these fires. And to sweep it under the rug or to kind of make it, sterilize it a little bit, it is to the disservice of the hardworking families of that county, of that region, of California. And it needs to be uncovered. We need to determine what really happened and fix it. And by the way, if she didn't do the right thing, then we need to call that out. If she did the right thing, great, let's call it out. But to me, it looks like there was a lot of challenges and opportunities to do the right thing, and those things were missed.
Yeah, so sources told the Times that Mayor Karen Bass was concerned about legal liabilities for failures in combating the Palisades fire. Some of that came from a failure to correctly position all of their resources when they knew the winds were picking up, when they knew the fire was probably coming. Bass wanted key findings about the Los Angeles Fire Department shortcomings removed or softened, according to sources. The most significant changes to the report involved a failure not to fully staff up or pre-deploy all available engines ahead of these high winds. This is stuff that, that gets you thrown out of office. And I think it's really interesting because, and obviously there's already chirping going on in LA of, I think one of her allies even announced against her this week on the left, which is
yes, I saw
the
that.
farther left, which is interesting. And then, Rick Caruso is now reconsidering his statement from like 2 weeks ago that he said he wasn't going to run after this report came out. So there's a lot of interesting politics going on in LA, but it's interesting to me because leadership seems like easier when everything's sort of like going smoothly and hunky-dory and you don't really have a lot of big crises to manage. But when does leadership get tested? It's when things go wrong, right? And this was a big test of her leadership. And I think when you look at how things have not been built back, the permitting continues to hold back rebuilding. The reaction to it was more about protecting her political career rather than actually, doing the right thing. I mean, there's a lot of problems here.
But will the folks of LA County wake up and say no more? Because it's up to them, really.
It is.
It's
You're
up to
right.
them to put a leader in place that will protect them. It's up to them to put a leader that will show true leadership, true grit, true perseverance, true ability to see past the issues and help organize the solutions. And my fear is that it'll just be, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It is not okay. If you demand of your leaders to do a certain thing, then your leaders should be able to do it. And if they're not up to par, if they're not up to the task, then they need to be removed out of leadership and put true leaders in there because it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
And when they are sugarcoating things, it helps no one. In the Marine Corps, that's one of the things we learned, right? Don't sugarcoat anything. Tell me the ground truth. Tell me exactly what's happening so I can make an informed decision to help save lives. And I think there was some mistakes made.
And be willing to admit you were wrong.
It's okay.
And apologize. This is what I don't get right now. And I'm gonna take a sidebar here and apply this same logic to our president as well. When you make a mistake, it's okay to admit that you did something wrong, whether it was intentional or not. Apologize for it and move on. Like, I don't understand. I feel like there's like this thought on both sides right now, particularly, in this case, obviously with this report, but also in some other recent, things going on at the national level where it's like, there's a refusal to apologize or a refusal to admit wrong or, even a mistake. And I just think that people are tired of that too. It's, we need to be able to admit when things go wrong and do better next time. And apologize for them. And it seems like politicians in general are just unwilling to do that.
Yeah, so. They hold their title above the people that they're called to serve. And that's a challenge. I always say, we hear it here, people over politics and service above self.
Right.
But do they really mean it?
Yeah.
And that's where a true leader stands up and says, yeah, I mean it. And I'm okay to stand up and say, hey, we messed up.
100%. So if you just going to chat very briefly, and then we'll get you out of here about a few bills, new bills. This is sort of the time of year. Right, where a lot of new bills coming on. Anything you're working on that you want to highlight before we dive into these?
We're working on a ton of things when it comes to access to healthcare in rural communities. Veterans bills, definitely stay tuned. Pay attention to the bills that we're doing that will benefit our veterans who served our nation that are living here in California. We got some affordability bills, and we're also looking at energy. In my district, we have a third of the world's lithium. I've said this a bunch of times. Here in California, we have an ability to take that area and transform it, not only for the area and the region, for the people that live there, but it could be a revenue driver, not only for California, but the nation. So we're looking at all these different pieces. And also we're looking at some things that are not so sexy, right? Sometimes a bill just needs a change in a word from may to shall, right? And that opens up funding or it opens up services, whatever that might be. So we're looking at all those different things. We're starting to drop our bills here across the board.
That's awesome. I think stay tuned for that. Obviously, look forward to seeing where everyone's bill package comes out and following that work. A new bill, big press conference, and bill was introduced to allow California's AG to sue oil companies for disaster costs, basically on the logic that climate change is caused by oil companies' product, and so we're now going to sue oil companies in order to recoup some of the disaster costs. I mean, this is only going to hurt consumers. I think it's only going to raise gas prices. It's only going to raise energy costs. I mean, I can't see a scenario where this ends well.
It doesn't end well. Look, we all want safe drinking water, good air, good ground, all
100%.
those things. Everyone agrees with that. I think what's taken place here in California for many years now is on the environmental front, we've gone so far off the cliff that now folks are, refineries are leaving California.
Yep.
And the only thing that's going to happen, we don't have the infrastructure here in California, this energy island, to be able to support a 100% fleet of electric vehicles. It's not here. It's not going to happen by 2030. It's just not there. If it was there, maybe we'd be thinking something different, electrified roads and solar and all this other stuff. But we have to look at this from a business perspective and say, what is in the best interest of Californians and in this balanced interest of also protecting our environment.
But if it's there, it's going to happen anyway. This is what I don't understand. Like we act like the government needs to somehow step in and fix this problem. It's once those vehicles are affordable, once those vehicles have the infrastructure necessary to support them, which are things that you can incentivize, right? Without doing bills like this, you can incentivize that sort of development. Then markets and consumers will move that direction. It's not something you have to force, right? It's something that will happen as the technology improves and as the infrastructure improves. So so this one is SB 982. Check that one out. If you want to learn more, we'll have links on all of these in the show notes. You might have seen this one. California high-speed rail records could remain secret under a new proposed law, essentially reducing transparency for what the inspector general has to share with the public on what they find, when they're looking into high-speed rail contracts and the project itself. So I think pretty problematic in my opinion.
Everyone is screaming about the Epstein files, controversy and transparency. And yet on the other hand, we're saying, let's hide this.
Yeah.
We need to be transparent on all these fronts. It's the California taxpayers that want to see where their money is being spent. Don't hide it, because if you're hiding it, you have something to hide. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Well, and just this idea that somehow knowing this information is bad for the project, and so what? So people shouldn't know it because it shouldn't be criticized. Like, I don't really understand the logic there. That's AB 1608 if you want to check that one out. California has a dangerous driver problem. A bipartisan group of lawmakers wants to fix that. I didn't know if you were part of this group.
I wasn't part of that group.
Oh, it's Juan Alanis is in this photo. So,
my twin brother.
Your twin brother. So there are some, but it's essentially the Assembly. There's a broader push at the Capitol to reform California's weak driving laws. This would be a package of bills to crack down on dangerous drivers, roadway safety issues, requiring first-time DUI offenders to install car breathalyzers, lengthen many license suspensions and revocations, increase DUI training for law enforcement, and close a loophole that allows people who have killed with their car to avoid consequences through a diversion program. So, I mean, honestly, all things that sound supportable.
That we need. I have a highway in my district. It goes along Greg Wallace's, Assemblyman Greg Wallace, in my district's Highway 74. People have died a bunch of times on that. And we started partnering with California Highway Patrol to do targeted enforcement in that region, along with Caltrans. And it's just, actually every week we're sending out all the different, the offenses that have taken place on this particular piece of road. If we look at that and multiply that across California, we have a huge problem, and I'm glad this bill has been introduced.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. A coalition, a bipartisan bill I'm involved in, seeking to rein in child social media use. There's two bills, actually, AB 1700 and AB 1709, if I'm remembering. There's so many bill numbers, man. It's like, I think I'm remembering those correctly. But AB 1700 would create an e-safety commission in California to really continue to look at child safety online and across a number of different aspects. And 1709, so myself and Assemblymember Joe Patterson are part of this coalition, is looking into what it would mean to have a minimum age required to be on social media. And I think this is something that we're seeing other countries look at or implement. We're learning a lot about it. We've learned a lot over the last few years about the harms of social media and sort of how it's impacting our kids. So I think it's an important discussion that needs to be had. There's still a long way to go on the details, but I think I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a discussion first.
Yeah.
Not the, hey, let's lock it all down and then go from there. There definitely needs to be a discussion, but also there needs to be a discussion at the kitchen table, right? This is
totally.
Parental involvement needs to take place.
100%. Yeah, and if you have an iPhone, right, or if your kids have an iPhone, there's a lot of tools for parents on there, right? My youngest son has a phone, but it's very locked down.
Right.
It's very restricted. Those are tools that are available to parents. They're hard conversations to have in some cases because kids get really, well, my friend has it, and this, you know how kids get.
Absolutely,
it's ridiculous. And so what I've heard from parents on this is like, particularly with my work on the phone-free schools bill, yes, it is a job of parents to really engage and make sure those things are happening. But a lot of parents I've talked to have seen that when the state comes along and says, oh, by the way, you can't have it at school anymore, then that really assists parents in saying, hey, look, it's not just me saying this, right? It's also your teachers and your schools and whatever it might be. So I think that it's an important way that we can help parents too in sort of navigating these really challenging times with these young teenagers, tweenagers, this 10 through 14, 10 through 16 age group, where they're really being exposed to a technology that has never happened in the history of mankind until the last few years.
But why do you think parents are so averse to not having these hard conversations? Because I'll tell you, growing up, my dad said, this is my house, these are my rules. In this land, I rule, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
that was the way it was, and
totally,
I dare you to cross that. But I also see this softer, gentler parenting approach.
That is an issue. Sure.
That hey, have the conversation with your kid. Don't give them the cell phone, or find another way to communicate. I survived. I didn't have cell phones growing up.
I agree with you, and I think parenting styles are an issue.
Yeah.
A contributing factor for sure. Gentle parenting, I don't think.
Well, they're afraid to offend their kid.
I think there's an in-between gentle parenting and, hardcore parenting. Like, I think you can be strict and have solid rules and foundations without, crossing a line of some kind, So I think there's some middle ground there that we don't, that we've sort of overreacted to. But on the other hand, I think a lot of people don't know, right? It's easy to tell your kid, don't run into the street, don't touch a hot stove, don't hang around with the wrong people. But the dangers of social media really are still becoming known to people. I think for a lot of parents, they're not necessarily paying attention to what's on their kids' phones, or that they even need to pay attention to it.
That's a shame.
Which is a concern.
You should inspect what you expect.
Absolutely. So there's a great piece that I will link. We won't dive into it here. If you want to read more about this, there's a great piece written by Jonathan Haidt, who wrote some really great books, but most recently The Anxious Generation, which really dives into a lot of these topics of sort of the harms of social media and smartphone use. But he wrote a piece last year that I'll link in the notes, The Devil's Roadmap to Destroy the Next Generation. Essentially, he asked AI, if I really wanted to mess with the next generation and just completely destroy their chances to succeed, what would you recommend I do?
Wow.
Oh man, read it. Go to the story and read it. It basically
it'll be on your show notes.
It'll be in the show notes, but it basically talks about we do what they're doing right now, which is get them addicted to technology, get them linked into social media. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Wow.
So check that out. I would say definitely worth a read. I think we're out of time, man. You want a satirical news headline before we let you go?
Let's do it.
See what's on Babylon Bee this morning?
Let's go. Babylon Bee, your source of all news here in the capital.
World gathers to watch a bunch of sports and also figure skating. Okay. All right. Imperial Stormtrooper once again finishes dead last in Olympic biathlon.
Juan Alanis is very upset about that, by the way. He is crying in the corner about that one.
Oh, man. I don't know what this is in reference to, but Japanese prime minister wins landslide victory after promising to introduce forks. I mean, I get the whole chopstick thing, but I don't know what story that's referencing, but that's pretty funny. Patriots offensive line surprised to learn Super Bowl was yesterday.
That's hard. Too soon?
That's harsh.
That's way
man.
too soon.
That's harsh. And let's see, any other good ones? Oh, man. I don't know. This is just too much, man. The Babylon Bee to host even more patriotic halftime show where Clarence Thomas just stands there and reads the Constitution.
On that note,
I mean, look. That would be better than Kid Rock and jorts. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I got my
the
jorts.
music, whatever, but I
got my
didn't
jorts.
really listen to all the music. I just looked at a couple screenshots or whatever from that show, or like I checked in on it a couple times. But when I saw Kid Rock jumping around in the jorts or whatever, those jean shorts,
they're a fashion trend.
Whew.
Okay, don't stop the jorts.
It is a fashion. I don't know about a trend.
There's a shirt. Don't stop the jorts.
But dude, that was funny. It is funny to see things going more baggy now, by the way. Again, you
yes.
know, like kind of my kids starting to wear all this baggy stuff again. I'm like,
skinny jeans.
That was me in high
came
school.
Came out, and they're done.
On? So anyway, any closing thoughts before we let you go?
Stay tuned, stay connected, and keep on the Point of Order podcast.
Dude, that's going to become part of our intro or something now. What's your X handle? I'm trying to look it up here, but
my X handle.
People can go follow you on.
Yeah,
X.
they could follow me on one side or the other. ASM Jeff Gonzalez.
Oh, that's what I got here. Okay.
Or Gonzalez for AD36.
Okay, yeah. So ASM Jeff Gonzalez. Okay, there you go. So check out Jeff Gonzalez on X. Mine is at Joshua_Hoover. You can send ideas for the podcast to pointoforderpod@gmail.com. And
you can also follow me on MySpace at georgejeff.com.
MySpace, dude. You can also follow the pod on X and all the socials at Point of Order Pod. But Jeff, thanks again, man. It's always great having you. This was fun. I think we're gonna just have to keep having you on for the Super Bowl reaction show.
That's what you say.
And
that's what you say. And, see you next year.
So I'll see you in a year. No, but best of luck to you with the bill package this year, and look forward to talking again soon.